5 past the top of the hour right now. In just a moment, Vivian has a look at our forecast. But right now, here's some specific numbers for specific cities all across the country.
Okay, here's the way it is. If we're going to make our numbers this year, we've got to do two things. Generate more volume and get a handle on our expenses. I want you to go through this place department by department. Take a look at everything we're doing and figure out how we can do it better. While you're at it, take a look at this. Saw this on the plane. It sounds like it can help us control our travel expenses. Maybe it can, maybe it can't. Let's find out.
The en route card, single-minded, business-focused.
The en route card is accepted by Hertz Rent-A-Car. For more information, call 1-800-EN-ROUTE.
6.5 past the top of the hour, checking on the good morning forecast. We'll begin out west. Well, pretty nice conditions for the most part over California, but we'll watch this system approaching the east, and it'll bring some light rain showers along the coast of Washington and Oregon later this afternoon, and just a few isolated rain showers throughout the Intermountain region. About 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 of an inch of rain here, none exceeding that much along the coast of Washington and Oregon, with afternoon highs in the 60s and the 70s, but we'll find 80s as you head farther south. A lot of sunshine over the Sacramento Valley, and even 90s in the deserts of the southwest. Preceding this front over the upper Mississippi Valley, anticipate more rain showers and drizzle through Illinois and Wisconsin, the eastern portions of Iowa, as much as an inch in some areas where you see the darkest green shading. But the clouds and the rain will certainly keep the temperatures below normal in the 50s and the 60s, 70s from Kentucky all the way to the western portions of the Dakotas. The northeast should be pretty nice today, a little cooler than what we have seen, that's for sure. The possibility of some light snow, as we're seeing right now, around Mount Washington, way up there in New Hampshire. There you see the rain working towards the Ohio Valley, but most of the northeast will be spared of the heavy rain today. But the cool temperatures, you know it, 50s and 60s, it's the best we can do for you. Afternoon highs today. We'll watch the ridge of high pressure pulling in over the Tennessee Valley as well, but the tail end of the front turns into a warm front. We'll watch it bowing back north. We'll allow a few thunderstorms over Texas and Louisiana, with some pretty decent amounts of rain in some cases as well. The possibility of flooding, too, over parts of Texas. Highs today in the 90s right along the Gulf Coast, but the front will cool temperatures a little bit over northern Georgia, Mississippi, and Alabama, with a lot of drier air, too. The composite picture, the wet weather in the nation's midsection, slides east by early tomorrow morning. That's a look at the forecast. Stay tuned. We'll extend the outlook through Saturday afternoon when we come back.
Everyone has flights of fancy. I dream of a place by the sea, a beautiful room filled with dreamy food, like luscious chicken cordon bleu, zesty garden lasagna, tender stuffed breast of turkey. And I could have whichever one I want and still look great. Am I dreaming? Not with Weight Watchers 41 entrees. This is dreaming. This is living.
Safe, sensible weight control for over 25 years.
Forest fires continue to burn in the Okefenokee Swamp in South Georgia. Aerial pictures show very little is left in some parts of the swamp. Charred trees stand out across the blackened remains. Little chance for rain relief today for the smoldering fires. Conditions will stay dry for the next couple of days. Also in weather news, beautiful summer conditions in Spokane, Washington Monday. The kind you'd like to bottle up and save. After all, the transition to fall is just days away. For many, the bright sunshine made for a break from work to enjoy lunch in the park. Sunny again today, a high around 75. While many folks are enjoying a cool end to summer, it's sizzling hot in Louisiana. In Baton Rouge Monday, the high reached 94. But with humidity, it felt more like 102. Folks, get ready for another hot one today. Highs will top in the 90s again. I'm Marny Stanier, the Weather Channel.
CompuServe is the world's largest network of people with personal computers. CompuServe can turn your computer into a limitless source of information and resources that will simplify your work and enrich your life.
You know, I travel a lot, and I book all my reservations on CompuServe. I just go online and check for the best deals. It saves me valuable time and a lot of money. Over the long haul, I find the service actually pays for itself. In fact, on one trip, my flight was so much cheaper, I was able to pay for a hotel room with the difference.
Just call 1-800-522-4477 for more information or to join CompuServe. Just call this number today and get a membership kit for only $39.95 with usage charges as low as 10 cents a minute. CompuServe, the only computer service with more than 500,000 members.
CompuServe saved me enough to buy a ticket to Paris.
The following scenes may be unsuitable for sensitive viewers. They are the forgotten, these hungry, sick, dying children of the world. They need help so urgently. But what does it cost to fight disease, malnutrition, starvation? How much does it cost to keep a child alive? The figure is almost unbelievable. It's only 70 cents a day. Please call this toll-free number now and learn more about sponsoring a child through Christian Children's Fund. For just 70 cents a day, only $21 a month, you'll make sure a sick child can see a doctor. Your 70 cents also gives a child food, clothing, a chance to go to school, a future. Every day, 35,000 children die from hunger and hunger-related diseases around the world. To them, 70 cents a day literally means the difference between life and death. Become a most important person in a child's life. Please, call today.
If you've got a business trip coming up, watch the 5-Day Business Planner on the Weather Channel. You'll get a comprehensive national report that covers the forecast weather conditions over the next 5 days. Watch the 5-Day Business Planner coming up soon on the Weather Channel.
Fourteen and a half now past the top of the hour. Let's take a look ahead. We'll start with the jet stream pattern, and it'll show us a little bit of a change by Saturday, but generally we see the trough in the northwest, a lot of little disturbances to ride in, but the jet hanging over the Great Lakes will allow temperatures to modify somewhat over the south. But by Saturday, a trough starts to dig into the lakes, and that's going to push some stormy weather to the eastern seaboard. Here's a look at the temperature profile. Not a whole lot of change really over the course of the week. There will be subtle differences. 90s will still hug the Gulf. Then we'll find the 80s and 70s sort of meander meandering through the midsection of the country, and generally looking at 60s across the northern U.S. Notice what we mean. Some 50s, 60s, the lakes to the northern interior of the United States. The 90s briefly will spike up to near Kansas City and Overland Park by Friday, but I say briefly because by Saturday things calm down. 80s in the Ohio Valley to about the nation's capital, and we'll talk generally 80s and 90s over the southwest, a few 100s thrown in just for good measure. Now on Wednesday, with that front coming across the plains into the central lakes and banding on back towards the Rockies, we'll see showers and storms ahead of the system, very isolated over the southern United States. That first frontal system pushes to the eastern seaboard Thursday, keeps some showers and storms there into the Tennessee Valley and the southern Appalachians, and tails up to the plains. Then here comes the next system, dropping on Friday into the upper Midwest, so more rain in a couple of days, and through the mid-Atlantic, and the wet weather will be sliding to New England and the Ohio Valley just in time for your weekend, unfortunately, while the plains in the northwest stay dry, and just spotty rain and thunder across the southwest. We'll check this morning's travel trouble spots. Vivian has details next.
Is this decaffeinated?
Relax, it's Max.
Tastes so rich.
Relax, it's Max.
Decaffeinated?
Relax, it's Max.
It's so rich you can't believe it's decaffeinated? Relax, it's Max. Maxwell House Naturally Decaffeinated, blended with Colombian beans, because better beans do make better coffee.
Relax, it's Max.
Maxwell House Naturally Decaffeinated Coffee.
That's so good.
If you're looking for a hotel that was made for you, welcome to Embassy Suites Hotels, where we made every room a two-room suite so you can spread out and work, or stretch out and relax. Where we made breakfast free and easy to free up your schedule. Where we made beverages on the house, so each evening you can sit back and relax. Call 1-800-EMBASSY. We were made for each other.
For reservations nationwide, call 1-800-EMBASSY. We were made for each other.
And this Traveler's Update is sponsored by Embassy Suites Hotels, where you can afford to upgrade every trip. Here's National Radar. The bulk of the wet weather, again, as we've been saying all morning, is in the nation's midsection, right dead smack in the middle. Dry for most of the eastern seaboard and out west, too, with the rainy travel from Minneapolis to Chicago and Des Moines and St. Louis. So if you have travel plans here today, then you just might want to allow a little extra driving time, and certainly you want to slow it down a little bit. Isolated thunderstorms over Arizona and New Mexico with a closed low here, and with a warm front tailing in over Arkansas and Louisiana. Might find some thunderstorms there later today as well. Let's look at the traveling conditions. Hope you're very careful as you're traveling across the lower 48 today. Stay tuned. We'll take a look at the 5-day outlook. That's with Bruce coming up next.
The Morning Report.
The Morning Report continues. You've tuned to the Weather Channel. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Vivian Brown, and this is Bruce Edwards. Almost 20 minutes past the top of the hour, and as promised, Bruce will check on the 5-day business planner.
That's right. It's the autumn of the year, or almost officially the autumn time of the year. That means some changes in the atmosphere, and we're going to see some of that over the next couple of days. Let's take a look at the specifics now, starting with the next 24 hours. And as we do so, we'll be following primarily the front dropping into the plain states. Right now, we're getting all that rain out ahead of the front, and that will continue continue to be the case. It'll sweep into Chicago and Milwaukee later this afternoon and approaching the Indiana border. High pressure will keep it quiet over the east. Spotty rain and thunderstorms across Louisiana and East Texas, and that low into the southwest is bringing in some moisture, so there'll be some rain and thunder into the southern and central Rockies. Now, early tomorrow morning, the wet stuff ought to begin to clear through Madison, Wisconsin, and Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Still a little soggy in St. Louis to Chicago to Detroit to Cleveland, Erie, and Pittsburgh, but dry along the Atlantic seaboard and cooler, drier air for the northern plain states. Temperatures today will be the coolest in the north, specifically into northern Maine. Highs only into the upper 40s there. Otherwise, 50s and 60s over the northern third of the country. Some 70s, Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and the hot 90s suppressed to the south and southwest. Now, for the next couple of days, not going to see any dramatic changes in that overall pattern. Now, it'll be chilly tomorrow morning again in the northeast, not nearly as cool in the Great Lakes. Ahead of that front, we'll see the milder air streaking onto the north. Now, for the next couple of days, some brief warm-ups and cool-downs across the heartland of America as the one front cruises on through, and then already we'll see the temperatures begin to climb into the plains on Thursday and Friday. More in evidence as we'll see readings approach 90 degrees around Topeka, Kansas, and Wichita, Kansas, while we'll see some of the cooler air into the mid-Atlantic. But just as quickly, all that warmth begins to slide to the east as the next front begins to dive in through the Great Lakes. So again, nothing too dramatic, just some subtle changes in the overall pattern for the heartland of America. Now, here is the weather map on Wednesday with that wet weather preceding the front. It's going to be draped from the Rockies into the Appalachians, pushing to the Atlantic seaboard, through the mid-Atlantic to the Tennessee Valley, and then the front will then trail back up into the northern plains. Here goes the next low developing along that system and dropping into the upper Mississippi Valley. That's where we'll see some rain and thunderstorms. They will linger along with the front across Virginia and the Carolinas, but dry in the northeast and only isolated storms along the Gulf Coast. Some moisture will continue to pump into the southwest on into Saturday, while the rain, the heaviest of which moves into New York State and New England for Saturday. Lingering light rains in the upper Mississippi Valley, but the plains and northwest will have a dry start to the weekend. Now let's check your backyard conditions.
Nation's midsection from Minnesota to Missouri. We'll take a look at some radars out of both of those states in a couple of minutes.
Everyone has flights of fancy. I dream of a place by the sea. A beautiful room filled with dreamy food, like luscious chicken cordon bleu, zesty garden lasagna, tender stuffed breast of turkey. And I could have whichever one I want and still look great. Am I dreaming? Not with Weight Watchers 41 entrees. This isn't dreaming. This is living.
Safe, sensible weight control for over 25 years.
Forest fires continue to burn in the Okefenokee Swamp in South Georgia. Aerial pictures show very little is left in some parts of the swamp. Charred trees stand out across the blackened remains. Little chance for rain relief today for the smoldering fires. Conditions will stay dry for the next couple of days. Also in weather news, beautiful summer conditions in Spokane, Washington Monday. The kind you'd like to bottle up and save. After all, the transition to fall is just days away. For many, the bright sunshine made for a break from work to enjoy lunch in the park. Sunny again today, a high around 75. While many folks are enjoying a cool end to summer, it's sizzling hot in Louisiana. In Baton Rouge Monday, the high reached 94. But with humidity, it felt more like 102. Folks, get ready for another hot one today. Highs will top in the 90s again. I'm Marny Stanier, the Weather Channel.
everyone. 25 past the top of the hour. Let's check on this morning's weather. We'll start with a satellite picture as we detail the clouds and how they've progressed over the last 12 hours or so. Most of the clouds in the nation's midsection, and we'll show you how they continue to move east. A lot of clearing skies along the eastern seaboard and out west, with a lot of clear skies for the most part from Montana through Colorado and the eastern portions of Wyoming back to New Mexico. A few clouds across northern and central Arizona. We saw some light rain about a couple hours ago around Prescott, Arizona, but they have since dissipated. More clouds in the Pacific Northwest with a frontal system in the Pacific Ocean. It's moving on shore, though, and we'll find some light rain showers later this afternoon along the coast of Washington and Oregon. But the best bet today for the rain, take along the umbrella. It's right smack in the middle, as been indicated on national radar. From Minneapolis to St. Louis, headed for Chicago. Some light rain still in Des Moines, Iowa. We'll take a quick radar tour as we start in the Dakotas, just to the south and to the east of Jamestown, North Dakota, to Farmington, Minnesota. There you see Aberdeen, South Dakota, some light rain headed off to the east. Even St. Cloud, Minnesota, and Alexandria still reporting some light rain. Farther south we go to Minneapolis and Rochester, Minnesota, back to Cedar Rapids and Waterloo and Ottumwa, Iowa, Peoria, Illinois, as well as Springfield and Quincy and Burlington, Iowa. Still some rain, and it's moving to the east. This is Chicago. It's definitely headed in your direction. There you see St. Louis. I think the southern extent of the rain is around the Cape Girardeau area, for more light rain showers back to Sedalia and Columbia and Vichy, Missouri. And then we're finding more rain and embedded thunderstorms just to the east of Wichita, Kansas, as this too is moving off to the east at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. We'll put the pieces back together and show you more rain in the eastern portions of Nebraska. Didn't get a regional radar out of that area, but Omaha reporting some light rain as well. Temperatures in the northeast cool under this dome of high pressure. Only 43 degrees in Albany, New York, 41 in Rochester, but it's still kind of chilly in Pittsburgh, only 39 degrees. Talk about the record lows, though. So we saw over the Ohio Valley in the northeast so far. Youngstown, Ohio, 34 degrees. Syracuse dipped to 36 this morning. Even our nation's capital had a record low of 37, and Baltimore, Maryland, 41 degrees. It's about 63 right now in Atlanta, the host of the 1996 Summer Olympics. Nice conditions to get out and celebrate today. 54 degrees in Nashville, about 74 in New Orleans, and it remains pretty warm right along the Gulf Coast with Miami, a balmy 80 degrees right now ahead of that frontal system, and that extends into Texas and Oklahoma. Here's the band of rain showers that we just took a look at on radar, with the temperatures in the 50s for the most part. Chicago checking in with 52 degrees with the rain again to your west, headed in your direction. Temperatures along the west coast, not too bad. Seattle, 56 degrees, 54, well, 64 around Salt Lake City and Denver. A cool 49 degrees, but comfortable in San Diego with a lot of sunshine in Southern California today. Already the dense fog around the Puget Sound area, but here's the front that'll bring the rain showers later this afternoon. The composite picture shaping up like this, and a look at national radar. No delays for the major hubs of the west, and I'm looking okay so far for the major hubs out east as well. Today's forecast with Bruce is next.
Good morning, everyone. Half past the hour. Let's look at our good morning forecast. And in the western states, we're going to see some increasing clouds and moisture in the southwest as this low begins to lift on out and draws in a little bit of moisture. So there'll be some scattered showers and storms, the Four Corners and into the Wasatch of Utah and up towards the Tetons. Plus, a weakening front, a trough of low pressure, will begin to slide to the coast, and that will start scattering some showers along the coast later on. Otherwise, things are looking pretty quiet, but the presence of clouds will help keep the temperatures down a few degrees. The precipitation scattered and very light. Some spots in the northern and into the southern Rockies will see about a quarter to half an inch of rain. That's about all. And temperatures very comfortable. 70s, generally some 60s in the northwest, a few 80s, and up towards the high valleys of California. Might see some 90s there up around Redding, and some 90s, of course, in the deserts, but that sure beats the heck out of triple-digit heat, so not looking too bad at all. Here's most of the moisture right through the Mississippi Valley, plunging into the western lakes later this afternoon, cooling and drying behind it into the northern high plains. But right smack dab in the Mississippi Valley, looking for at least an inch of rain between now and 7 o'clock tonight, and more after that as all that moisture slides east. Temperatures will generally be in the 60s and 50s up into the western lakes, but south of where that front is, we'll see 70s and a little bit of sunshine. Eastern Colorado, western Kansas will warm it into the 80s. A pleasant day over New England, especially the mid-Atlantic, sunshine and blue skies and comfortable temperatures, but still some clouds lingering in northern Maine, some snow up in the mountains, but generally some light, insignificant rain showers. The bulk of the wet weather pushing through Wisconsin and into Illinois this afternoon. To the east, no significant areas of precipitation, and generally it's definitely sweater and jacket weather, but don't forget the sunglasses over New England and the mid-Atlantic. 50s and 60s for highs, some 70s from Washington south, and from Parkersburg to Cincinnati and Point South, we'll see readings in the comfortable 70s. A nice day through the Carolinas and on into Georgia. We have that easterly fetch of winds keeping some clouds in, but the sun will burn a few of those off, and then showers and storms will be building from the Gulf, overriding the warm front into the Mississippi Valley, and a few isolated strong storms across South Florida could produce an inch or more of rain. But generally from about Oklahoma City to Tulsa to Fort Smith and Fayetteville, Arkansas, half an inch to an inch of rain today with those showers and storms. 90s still hugging the Gulf, some 80s into the Tennessee Valley and southern Appalachians, and 70s north of that. And there it is, all back together for you. Now tomorrow morning, we'll see most of that wet weather in the Central Lakes, Ohio and Tennessee valleys. Still high pressure keeping it dry along the Atlantic seaboard, cooler and drier in the upper Mississippi Valley, and still the spotty rains in the Rockies. Specific forecast for a Tuesday afternoon are straight ahead.
There's a place where the sun rises to greet a timeless tower, where brilliant festivals fill the streets and enchantment fills the night, where you'll dance to the beat of a different drum and taste the spices of a different way of life. Come unveil a land whose beauty remains untouched and whose magnificent sights bring back the days of Maharajas. Experience the adventure of India. Call for your free India brochure today. 1-800-642-9900.
The Business Travel Forecast is sponsored by United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
There's a place in the friendly skies where not everyone's so friendly.
Stop. Hold it. I need 3 hours minimum.
Check it out. Over 9,000 mechanics of United Airlines work here.
Give me a mini grinder.
They're picky, fussy, stubborn. But if you fly, they're the best friends you'll ever have. United, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
United Airlines, serving over 200 cities across the U.S. and around the world. For reservations, call United or your travel agent. Come fly the friendly skies.
A cheese riddle. Excuse me, Giorgio. What do you get when you add mozzarella to an ordinary tomato? Something to sing about. That's right. Cheese makes it taste better. So don't forget the cheese.
Weight Watchers introduces something Italian. Cheese tortellini with rich tomato sauce.
Delicioso.
Even the cheeses are Italian. Romano, ricotta, mozzarella.
Magnifico.
Weight Watchers new cheese tortellini.
Bravissimo.
Safe, sensible weight control for over 25 years.
The Morning Report. Good morning, everyone. 22 now before the top of the hour. Thanks for joining us. The Tuesday, the 18th of September. I'm Bruce Edwards. This is Vivian Brown. Also to look at your Tuesday weather. And while the heartland is a little soggy, things are pretty quiet westbound and quiet in the east.
Yeah, a cool September 18th.
That's true.
Record lows this morning already. We'll take a look at them as we detail waking up weather. Sponsored by Mountain Grown Folgers Coffee. Folgers, the best part of waking up. Here's a look at the clouds as we roll them into motion and show you the bulk of the wet weather, as Bruce mentioned, is in the nation's midsection. Beneath the prettier cloud tops, the blue and the green on your television screen, from the Dakotas to Minnesota and Iowa, back to Illinois, and even some rain in Missouri, as well as Kansas and eastern Nebraska around Omaha. They're reporting some moderate rain showers right now. Most of the rain here is just light to moderate. A lot of clear skies, though, throughout most of Montana, back to eastern Wyoming, Colorado, and the panhandles of Texas and Oklahoma. Saw some light rain earlier in central Arizona around Prescott. And then we're finding another frontal system in the Pacific Northwest. Later this afternoon, it will increase the clouds and the rain along the coast of Washington and Oregon. Tell you what, we'll show you the national radar. Beneath those clouds, we'll find the heaviest rain again from Minnesota to Missouri, as well as Illinois. We'll begin our radar tour and start in the northern plain states and show you a closer inspection to the eastern portions of North Dakota. I guess we cannot zoom into the radars, but we'll certainly show you that the bulk of the rain is in the nation's midsection. Dry for the most part from Maine back to the mid-Atlantic and along the coast of Georgia, as well as South Carolina, and pretty quiet as you head farther west with a lot of clear skies for the most part. There are the clouds in the motion, and we'll show you that the general movement is to the east at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. Zooming into Jamestown, North Dakota, just to the east of Jamestown, we do have the light rain and drizzle and extends into Aberdeen, South Dakota, all moving to the east, but we'll head farther south in eastern Iowa and the central portions of Illinois from Peoria to Springfield, even Quincy. Still some light rain here, headed for Chicago in the next couple of hours or so. St. Louis already getting the rain. In eastern St. Louis, Illinois, some rain. Back to Columbia, Missouri, Vichy, and Sedalia. Just some light rain and drizzle throughout this neck of the woods. We'll head farther west, though, as we go into Kansas and show you some heavier rain and thunderstorms just to the east of Wichita. The thunderstorms here have begun to weaken a little bit, so that's certainly some good news as they continue to move off to the east at 20 miles per per hour. Putting the pieces back together again, and there's the national scene, and we'll zoom to the northeast. With the cool temperatures, yeah, you bet. It's only 41 right now in Rochester, 39 in Pittsburgh, but we saw cooler temperatures than that, like around Youngstown, Ohio, 34 degrees, even cool to some 37 in Rochester, New York. Temperatures in the southeast are pleasant this morning. 63 in Atlanta, kind of nice. 61 in Birmingham, not too bad. And 54 right now in Nashville, but still very muggy right along the coast, especially in Miami. It's 80 degrees there ahead of this cold front. There you see the rain in the upper Mississippi Valley with the temperatures primarily in the 60s. 42, though, in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and 42, kind of nippy, Cleveland, Ohio. Temperatures in the Pacific Northwest are nice. Even in the southwest around San Diego and L.A., both checking in with 67 degrees with a lot of clear skies for the most part. But again, this front will work on shore in the Pacific Northwest and increase the clouds and the rain later today. Right dab in the middle is where we find the wet weather. Flying out this morning, well, no problems for Atlanta, Newark, and Chicago looking okay. L.A. and Denver and Dallas mighty fine as well. Stay tuned after this word from Mountain Grown Folgers Coffee. We'll take a look at the forecast.
Today she gets room service. How tough can it be? She makes breakfast every morning. See, coffee.
Nothing brightens your morning like Mountain Grown Folgers. Mountain Grown coffee has more enticing aroma and richer flavor than any other kind.
You made me breakfast in bed.
Well, coffee anyway.
.16 before the hour. Let's look at your good morning forecast. And over the western states, we'll see some clouds, especially in the Intermountain region. That'll keep the sun a little bit dimmer. And the moisture will continue to increase over the Four Corners later this afternoon. The low will lift out and draw in some moisture, and that will bring a few more showers and a possible thunderstorm or two later today. Scattered rains back along the stalled front across the Tetons, the Bitterroots. Quarter to half an inch of rain in some favored locations. Otherwise, generally less than that in the Intermountain region. But temperatures will be comfortable. Some 60s and 70s in the northwest quadrant, 80s and some 90s in the southwest deserts, but up around Redding and Red Bluff might see 90 degrees or so as well as things will heat up a bit. Very soggy this morning across the central Corn Belt, and the wet weather will continue its steady march across the Mississippi, heading for Green Bay, Milwaukee, Chicago, on down to Champaign, Illinois, with showers and a few strong storms. And the steady moisture, the slow movement of that whole precipitation shield will dump about an inch or so of rain right through the Mississippi Valley, places like Dubuque and Burlington and around Quincy, Illinois. Some 50s up towards upper Michigan, northern Wisconsin, eastern portions of Minnesota. The western plains will see 70s, some 80s in southwest Kansas, 60s into the Central Lakes. Clouds will be on the increase, though, with the southerly winds and the moisture heading in with that frontal system. But a beautiful day from the northeast, New England states down through the mid-Atlantic. There will still be some lingering clouds and intermittent showers over northern Maine, but nothing that will accumulate very much at all. 50s and 60s overall, but we'll find the cooler 40s with the cloud cover in northern Maine and the milder 70s from Washington, D.C. south, from Parkersburg to Cincinnati and on south into Kentucky. A nice day through the Carolinas, Georgia, Alabama. The onshore flow will keep some clouds in the picture, but nothing as far as rain is concerned here but in the tropical area of South Florida, and with the moisture from the Gulf sweeping over the warm front, we'll see the wet weather here, producing a half an inch to an inch of rain in some spots. Locally, some isolated strong storms could produce better than an inch of rain around Fort Myers and Naples, Florida. 90s along the Gulf, some 80s elsewhere. A very comfortable day north of that warm front. There's your big picture this afternoon. Now, tomorrow morning, high pressure still anchored over the mid-Atlantic, keeps it dry along the seaboard, but the wet weather moves west of the Appalachians from the Great Lakes to the Tennessee Valley. Cooler and drier in the plains, spotty rain along this frontal boundary in the lee of the Rockies, and this trough coming in brings a few showers to the Cascades of Washington and Oregon. A check on the tropics and a new tropical depression in the Atlantic. Details to follow.
Send up a crow's foot. Give me an app check.
There's a place in the friendly skies where not everyone's so friendly.
Stop. Hold it. I need 3 hours minimum. Check it out.
Over 9,000 mechanics of United Airlines work here.
Give me a mini grinder.
They're picky, fussy, stubborn. But if you fly, they're the best friends you'll ever have. United, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
United Airlines, serving over 200 cities across the U.S. and around the world. For reservations, call United or your travel agent. Come fly the friendly skies.
There's a place where the sun rises to greet a timeless tower, where brilliant festivals fill the streets and enchantment fills the night, where you'll dance to the beat of a different drum and taste the spices of a different way of life. Come unveil a land whose beauty remains untouched and whose magnificent sights bring back the days of Maharajas. Experience the adventure of India. For your free India brochure today. 1-800-642-9900.
That's okay. I don't have a leisure suit.
Listen, honey, if I can't pronounce it, I don't eat it.
That's great.
We don't have it because you don't want it. At Days, what we do have are great rooms, great value, at over 1,000 great locations. And that's the honest truth.
Call 800-325-2525 for reservations at Days locations nationwide.
In the French Alps, there's a source of clean water that's as refreshing as any on Earth. It doesn't flow from some remote mountain peak. It flows from an ordinary faucet that's connected to an Instapure water filter.
Well, things starting to percolate out in the tropical Atlantic. Here's a look at the big blue marble. The immediate concern is the effects of Tropical Storm Marie on the Hawaiian Islands. However, there are the islands, and here is Tropical Storm Marie. Let's put it into motion for you, and as we do so, we'll notice how things will continue to rotate onto the west. The intensity of the thunderstorms has diminished, but they'll be feeling the effects of the tropical storm, especially on the Big Island of Hawaii. Here's a look at the particulars now. The center of the tropical storm is 210 miles south of Hilo. It is moving to the west-southwest. It will pass south of the islands, we feel, provided it doesn't make any sudden abrupt changes. Center of the storm should pass about 130 miles south of the islands. Top sustained winds are still pretty feisty at 70 miles an hour. We do have tropical storm warnings out for the Big Island of Hawaii, and up around the counties of Maui, we have tropical storm watches. There'll be some high surf and some squally weather for the next day or so. Here's a look at the Atlantic, and this little cluster of clouds here we've been watching has now been classified as a tropical depression with top sustained winds at 35 miles an hour. It is moving west at 14, should maintain that course, and it is in a favorable location. Conditions are favorable for continued strengthening, and if this strengthens to over 40 miles an hour, which it may well do today, it'll be Tropical Storm Josephine, the next one on the agenda. Here's another look at it right here. This is the particular system here, while another is moving off the coast of Africa. So even though we're starting to wind down the Cape Verde storm season, there's still a few percolating out there. Caribbean looking okay. Frontal system, old frontal boundaries, trough of low pressure, seeing some showers and storms. The central and eastern Gulf okay, but this tropical wave is moving westbound into Mexico with some locally heavy rains. In the Pacific, two typhoons, one on the coast of China and one just to the south of the islands of Japan. Typhoon Flo was a super typhoon, went across Okinawa, some heavy rain, strong winds. It is now forecast to start to curve with this front coming through. That'll direct it off to the northeast and should stay south of the Japanese islands, and Typhoon Ed continues to bring some heavy storms as it moves onshore into China. Now let's take a look at the extended outlook. Vivian has details, but that's first. We're going to take a look at what's happening elsewhere across the country with Marny Stanier.
Forest fires continue to burn in the Okefenokee Swamp in South Georgia. Aerial pictures show very little is left in some parts of the swamp. Charred trees stand out across the blackened remains. Little chance for rain relief today for the smoldering fires. Conditions will stay dry for the next couple of days. Also in weather news, beautiful summer conditions in Spokane, Washington Monday. The kind you'd like to bottle up and save. After all, the transition to fall is just days away. For many, the bright sunshine made for a break from work to enjoy lunch in the park. Sunny again today, a high around 75. While many folks are enjoying a cool end to summer, it's sizzling hot in Louisiana. In Baton Rouge Monday, the high reached 94, but with humidity, it felt more like 102. Folks, get ready for another hot one today. Highs will top in the 90s again. I'm Marny Stanier, the Weather Channel.
Taking time to look ahead now, cool air in the Pacific Northwest tomorrow with a trough developing, but by week's end and the beginning of the weekend, we'll find that trough crossing over the Great Lakes with cooler temperatures. Afternoon highs tomorrow, cool across the north, 50s and 60s, even 70s from the mid-Atlantic to the mid-Pacific. Farther south of there, you'll find the heat to continue from Florida to Texas and over the Gulf Coast, and of course in the deserts. Along the coast of California, though, still kind of nice. Afternoon highs in the 70s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms over the Ohio Valley tomorrow with a system passing through and moves right on into the northeast by Thursday, but the next system with the most concentrated area of rain over the upper Mississippi Valley on Friday. It quickly moves to the northeast by Saturday. That's a look ahead. Stay tuned. We'll take you traveling next.
this decaffeinated?
Relax, it's Max.
Tastes so rich.
Relax, it's Max.
Decaffeinated?
Relax, it's Max.
It's so rich you can't believe it's decaffeinated? Relax, it's Max. Maxwell House Naturally Decaffeinated, blended with Colombian beans, because better beans do make better coffee.
Relax, it's Max.
Maxwell House Naturally Decaffeinated Coffee.
That's so good.
And now it's time for the Michelin Driver's Report, brought to you by Michelin and your participating Michelin dealer.
Rainy travel today over the upper Mississippi Valley and the possibility of some isolated thunderstorms throughout Arizona and New Mexico. But this is the broadest area of rainy travel. The best chance of those strong storms, though, over Louisiana and Arkansas and the southern portions of Florida. Still some patchy areas of fog out there. We've outlined the areas in the shading of yellow. Stay tuned. We'll check on this morning's weather after this word from Michelin.
Over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. The horseman's away to carry the sleigh through the wide and drifty snow. La, la, la.
A Michelin tire can give you enough miles to circle the world more than 2 times. That's a lot of trips to Grandma's. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
Find Michelin tires at this dealer near you, because so much is riding on your tires.
The Morning Report.
Good Tuesday morning. I'm Marny Stanier. This is Day-Elect. A cool start in the Northeast this morning. All kinds of record low temperatures.
Yeah, but on the heels of that, we've got some rain that's spreading across the country. We'll detail that a little bit for the Northwest, too. Let's take a look at it. And we'll go, first of all, to take a look at what's going on across the United States and also Saudi Arabia, where we've got fair weather, clear skies, and temperatures are really heating up. Although it is only 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we find 100-degree readings very common. Taking a look at your airports, good news. No problems at the major hubs if you're flying out, although the Midwest may find some more problems as the day wears on. We'll take a look at the satellite picture, putting that on into motion. We notice the brunt of the clouds in the heartland of the country. See a system here working its way eastward with a fair amount of rain from the Dakotas and Minnesota right on down into Illinois, and even Missouri saw a fair amount of rain overnight. High pressure providing cool weather and clear skies over the northeast part of the country. As we look to the southwest, we've got an upper-level storm. Brought some heavier thunder showers to northern Arizona overnight, and those will be heading towards Salt Lake City today. So take the umbrella as you head on out to work. You may need it as you go on through the day today. Let's take a look off the west coast. We do see a frontal system making its way eastbound, and it's weakening, though, as it does so. Seattle, Portland, maybe a little bit of light rain, especially later today on into tonight. But that system should weaken substantially. The brunt of the rain should be here in the interior sections of the west, around Salt Lake City, perhaps some appreciable rain. Let's take a look at the radar, see where the rain is occurring now. Mainly in the heartland of the nation is where we find most of the rain, from the mid-Mississippi Valley up on into Minnesota and North Dakota. A few scattered storms down near the Keys, and we see the scattered showers in the Intermountain region of the west. We'll take a little closer look at some areas along this band of rain, and we'll first of all take you on into the Dakotas, where we've got some rain from Aberdeen up toward Fargo, on over towards St. Cloud. We do find a little bit of rain here. Most of it is on the light side, and it is tracking its way on toward the northeast. We'll head southeast and show you the movement of the rain here, heading out of Iowa, moving on toward Wisconsin now. Heaviest of the rain moving from St. Louis toward Peoria and Chicago. Around noontime today, you can expect some showers moving into your neck of the woods as this all continues to move its way on toward the northeast. We'll head westbound, show you more scattered lighter rain showers back on into Kansas, where we pick up some thunderstorms from Topeka down toward Emporia. Again, this is tracking northeast. Let's take a closer look on the west. A little bit of fog, the problem around the Puget Sound this morning. Outside of that, we'll see sunshine from the midday and afternoon hours. And as this front approaches, the high clouds moving in and maybe a little bit of light rain. Got the rain scattered about northern portions of Arizona. Look for that in Utah and Colorado as that system continues to move its way to the north. The frontal system interacting with a southerly flow of air, so we've got all the rain we just showed you on radar through the heartland of the country, and the front will help kick it on toward the east, and it'll head toward the Great Lakes today. Bulk of the rain has ended down in Texas and Louisiana, but we could see a few storms popping up near this front today as the bulk of the wet weather north of the warm front moving through Missouri and heading toward Illinois. Cool start to the day under high pressure, a little foggy too along the eastern Ohio River Valley on into West Virginia, but the afternoon will be a little bit better. But as you can see, a lot of cold record lows this morning in the northeast part of the country. Here's a look at the numbers. Starting to warm up though with plenty of sunshine. Temperatures now into the lower 50s. Still a cool day and hot and steamy though down along the Gulf Coast. Maybe a few more records in South Florida today. Comfortable readings, but the clouds will keep them from warming up much in the northern plains and the west coast. Here's a look at 48 at Boise and 59 degrees at San Francisco. We'll detail how warm it'll get in major cities across the country. That's next.
Wesson's meant the best in frying for 75 years, and it just keeps getting better.
Wesson vegetable oil is my old favorite. All natural, cholesterol-free. That's not exactly old-fashioned.
Wesson corn oil is part of our low-fat, low-cholesterol diet because we're concerned about reducing cholesterol.
Wesson sunflower oil is 89% saturated fat-free. That's right for the way we live.
Wesson vegetable, corn, and sunflower oils. With every bite, you know you're eating right.
While some parts of the country are looking at some nice fall-like air on this week, we find other parts of the area getting some welcome rain. We'll show you where in just a bit on the forecast. Right now, some specific city forecasts.
Flights of fancy. I dream of a place by the sea, a beautiful room filled with dreamy food, like luscious chicken cordon bleu, zesty garden lasagna, tender stuffed breast of turkey. And I could have whichever one I want and still look great. Am I dreaming? Not with Weight Watchers 41 entrees. This isn't dreaming. This is living.
Safe, sensible weight control for over 25 years.
Expect rain today in Arizona and parts of Utah, especially by late afternoon today. You're waking up to rain this morning in Kingman, Arizona, and it is also raining this morning in Grand Canyon, Arizona. And by the late afternoon hours, that trough will start to push into the Pacific Northwest, and that will bring you some rain in the Olympic Peninsula up around Forks. You'll also get some rain all the way down the coast of Oregon. Now, you're waking up to a lot of fog in this very same area, so visibilities are reduced to 0 in some locations, so be careful. This morning fog, this afternoon rain, you name it, a little bit of a double whammy here. More rain, of course, over the Four Corners, amounting to maybe 1/4 of an inch, but isolated amounts here. High temperatures, 70s, 80s, and some 90s down here, which is still about normal for this time of the year. A strong southerly flow, all kinds of moisture working through Missouri, Iowa, parts of Illinois, Wisconsin. It's going to be a real messy one here today. We do have the rain right now in St. Louis. It's raining in Belleville, the rain into Peoria, so expect it throughout the day. Eventually it will be making move on into Chicagoland. Now, the best chance for rain is where you see dark green in eastern Iowa, parts of northeastern Missouri, locally an inch of rain. High temperatures, not very high at all around the Sault Ste. Marie after record low tide this morning, a high only in the 50s, 60s Chicago, 70s down in Mount Vernon, Illinois. Now, in the northeast, well, not a bad day at all. Maybe a few rain showers around that low over northern Maine. That is really about it. Another cool night tonight. And, well, no areas of precipitation to talk about. So high temperatures, nice and cool in northern New England, 40s and 50s for high temperatures, 70s working all the way into D.C. All kinds of rain in Texas and Louisiana, that moisture in off of the Gulf of Mexico, working on up into Memphis and Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Locally, an inch of rain, too, in parts of South Florida, where highs will top in the 90s today. Late afternoon today, most of the action right here, and it advances east early morning Wednesday.
Some world-class experts discuss the finer points of coffee making.
The ideal brewing time for optimum flavor is 7 minutes.
I have found a way to keep coffee fresh, 4 hours.
It is possible to remove the decanter during brewing without spillage.
You can become an expert at making coffee, too, with The Expert by Mr. Coffee, the first coffee maker that thinks.
When one's decanter is empty, one's machine should automatically shut off. Thusly.
Tune in to Heatwave Alert, sponsored by Mr. Coffee, this week on the Weather Channel.
This month, watch for your Discover Card application. It means you're already approved. Approved for the card that pays you cash back, yet charges you no annual fee. So just sign it and return to sender. It pays to Discover.
Brought to you by the Discover Card. It pays to discover the card that pays you back.
Forest fires continue to burn in the Okefenokee Swamp in South Georgia. Aerial pictures show very little is left in some parts of the swamp. Charred trees stand out across the blackened remains. Little chance for rain relief today for the smoldering fires. Conditions will stay dry for the next couple of days. Also in weather news, beautiful summer conditions in Spokane, Washington Monday. The kind you'd like to bottle up and save. After all, the transition to fall is just days away. For many, the bright sunshine made for a break from work to enjoy lunch in the park. Sunny again today, a high around 75. While many folks are enjoying a cool end to summer, it's sizzling hot in Louisiana. In Baton Rouge Monday, the high reached 94. But with humidity, it felt more like 102. Folks, get ready for another hot one today. Highs will top in the 90s again. I'm Marny Stanier, the Weather Channel.
If you're heading out to the beach, you'll find clouds giving way to a little sun and more clouds moving into the northwest. So not a lot of sun there, but California looking in great shape. Showers and thunderstorms, though, moving on up through Arizona. Winds, well, generally going to be onshore and about 15, 20 miles an hour, so nothing all that strong. Overall wind problems in the southeast part of the country to speak of, but we will be on the lookout for some heavier thunderstorms from Texas and Louisiana down an old frontal boundary into South Florida, where it is going to be a toasty one today, so you may want to get in the water, but watch for those heavy thunderstorms. Plenty of sunshine up in the northeast, some very autumn-like conditions here. And as the front approaches the Great Lakes, the winds will be picking up out of the southwest at about 15 to 25 miles an hour. Stay tuned. We'll detail the forecast for later this week. It looks very autumn-like. We'll show you the details next.
Big news from AT&T. Now you can get 1 free hour of high-quality AT&T long distance and enjoy special savings 24 hours a day with the AT&T Reach Out America plan. Reach Out America gives you an additional 25% discount starting at 5 p.m., a 10% daytime discount, plus an hour of weekend and night calls, and it costs just $8.70 a month.
Hi, Grandma. Yes, I'm fine, and so is Harry.
Call 1-800-336-4440 for the AT&T Reach Out America plan. Order now and get 1 free hour of long distance plus a special $5 savings. The plan also includes an international discount at no extra charge. You can even get an option that lets you save on calls away from home. Call 1-800-336-4440 and save on quality AT&T long distance, day and night. AT&T, the right choice.
It's back. It's more frightening than before. Stephen King's epic The Stand. Experience the terror of 350 pages you weren't allowed to see before. This $24.95 hardcover is yours for just $7.95 when you enter the chilling world of the Stephen King library. Imagine an exclusive collection of horror, Pet Sematary, The Shining, Christine, the chart toppers, the books that became blockbuster movies. All in original hardcovers at just $14.95 each, all with a cancel anytime guarantee. But if you want the terror to last, we'll send you a new volume, including King's new releases about every 7 weeks. Enjoy each for 10 days. There's never an obligation to buy. Possess The Stand with no risk. The Stephen King Library, where the master is coming back to haunt you.
Call 1-800-421-4600 now to get The Stand. Keep it and pay just $7.95 plus shipping and handling. Future volumes will come, 1 every 7 weeks, each with a 10-day free trial. Keep only the ones you want, cancel anytime.
If you've got a business trip coming up, watch the 5-Day Business Planner on the Weather Channel. You'll get a comprehensive national report that covers the forecast weather conditions over the next 5 days. Watch the 5-Day Business Planner coming up soon on the Weather Channel.
Now past the hour, a look at the jet stream in motion. We show you a trough in the west on Wednesday with that system pushing into the Pacific Northwest. But the ridge builds again by the end of the week, and by the weekend it is going to warm up somewhat. You'll notice some changes. Staying quite cool, though, across the Great Lakes and especially in the Northeast. Tomorrow highs in the 50s and 60s. Some highs today only in the 40s. So it is a cool pattern. That's going to change, though. 70s looks like in the lighter orange, but along the Gulf Coast region, 90s. Texas, Louisiana, all the way into southern Alabama and the panhandle of Florida. So Thursday, a nice hot one. Same story in the southwest. Even up to 100 in some locations here on Friday. coolest weather across northern Minnesota and parts of Wisconsin. High temperatures should reach the 50s on Friday and Saturday. The same story. But again, remember the ridge building in the west? Well, you will start to see temperatures moderating and it will warm up a bit. Wednesday, a few showers in the Pacific Northwest with that trough moving in, but scattered storms are likely from the Great Lakes southward into the Ohio Valley. You may still see some rain in parts of South Texas, too, and we keep that around for Thursday, drying out here, but rain lining up along the northeastern corridor. So from Bangor, Maine to Boston into D.C., maybe kind of a messy Thursday, but the system clears out by Friday, so TGIF looking good. Pretty dry right here, but a chance for some isolated storms in the southwest Friday. Still kind of rainy in the east. Traveling conditions next with Dale.
Freedent's the one. If you've got dental work, you've got 3 great reasons to chew Freedent. You know, Freedent won't stick to your dental work, and Freedent keeps your breath fresh. But maybe you didn't know Freedent moistens your mouth, too. So if you hate a dry mouth like I do, chew Freedent. Freedent's the one that took the stick out of gum, and Freedent moistens your mouth. Yeah, moistens your mouth, and freshens your breath while you chew.
Non-stick Freedent moistens your mouth and freshens your breath.
Next time you experience headaches, backaches, nausea, and sleepless nights, there is one way to get relief fast. GMAC. We make financing and leasing your new GM vehicle painless.
GMAC, available right at your GM dealer.
And this Traveler's Update is sponsored by GMAC, now offering a 7.9 annual percentage rate on select vehicles. Take a look at the satellite, or the radar loop first of all. You can see the rain moving on through the Mississippi Valley. It's heading on toward the Great Lakes. Some showers farther to the south into Louisiana, southern Florida. Now some showers moving on up into southern portions of Utah. Let's see where you'll find some problems on the roadways. Maybe some strong storms, especially this afternoon in South Florida, the southern plains, and they'll be popping up in the southwest as the day wears on. But by and large, the concentration of heaviest rain heading on up toward the mid and upper Mississippi Valley and heading toward the Great Lakes for today. Still some patchy fog in the Appalachians and East Texas, but especially thick around the Puget Sound down to the northwest coast of Oregon. So take it slow and easy if you're driving through there. Well, we see where the problem spots are this morning. Where will they be later this week? We'll check it out next.
Just about 20 past the hour. Thanks for joining us. This is Dale Eck, and I'm Marny Stanier. Kind of a nice start to the day in the west. Most folks waking up now, getting ready to head out the door to work. Decent weather. Some rain, though, out in the west.
Yeah, we've got a little bit to talk about. We'll get a look at that as well as the rest of the country as we take a look at your forecast through today. The 5-Day Business Planner is brought to you by Days, offering great rooms, great value at over 1,000 great locations. And taking a look at, first of all, at the map around noontime today. And we will find a little bit of light rain heading toward the northwest coast. And as it does, it'll tend to fall apart. So a few sprinkles maybe this afternoon, especially tonight. Probably some more showers and storms in Utah as an upper level low is lifting north. But the bulk of the rain will be here in the Mississippi Valley. Nice autumn-like air with this high-pressure system in the east. And as we go ahead in time, the front falls apart as it reaches the west coast. So nothing more than a few stray showers. Thunder showers popping up in the mountains, and the rain heading toward the Great Lakes by tomorrow morning as cool high pressure starts to move off the eastern seaboard, but another shot of cool air coming in behind this front. For today, nice refreshing air in the northeast. Clouds and rain will keep temperatures down in the northern plains. Not that overly oppressive in the Gulf or the southwest, while the northwest will have some clouds and a few light rain showers. Temperatures there will be chilly tonight. Another chilly one in the northeast, and summer-like 70s kind of diminishing across the country. As we go through the week, we'll notice several frontal systems heading from northwest to southeast across the country. As they do so, out ahead of it, here's the new front starting to organize on Thursday. See temperatures trying to warm ahead of that system into the Ohio River Valley. And as the fronts drop into the east, a ridge will be building in the west. So we do look for a warming trend here as we go on through the week. Notice by Saturday, temperatures warming into the 80s into the interior sections of the west, while the next front brings some cooler air to the Great Lakes and the northeast. The system we have now in the Mississippi Valley, there it is tomorrow, moving toward the Great Lakes and the northeast. A few scattered showers in the south and maybe a few in the mountains of the west. Next front organizing, while our first system starts to move off the eastern seaboard on Thursday, and then the next one coming in looks to be stronger, so maybe a more concentrated area of rain with that system as it moves into the Mississippi Valley, down on into the Rocky Mountain states, and then that one continues to push eastward, and with it, some showers and some rain hitting the eastern seaboard. Now these conditions near you. Days offers great rooms, great value at over 1,000 great locations. Marny?
Thanks a lot, Dale. When we come back, a look at today's weather headlines and then a look at the current weather scene, including radars from, well, Minnesota all the way down to Missouri. Stay tuned.
I mean, who wants to eat bait?
Wasn't he the guy that got his head cut off? What are crumpets?
Come on, you whip. Come on.
We don't have it because you don't want it. At Days, what we do have are great rooms, great value at over 1,000 great locations. And that's the honest truth.
Call 800-325-2525 for reservations at Days locations nationwide.
Forest fires continue to burn in the Okefenokee Swamp in South Georgia. Aerial pictures show very little is left in some parts of the swamp. Charred trees stand out across the blackened remains. Little chance for rain relief today for the smoldering fires. Conditions will stay dry for the next couple of days. Also in weather news, beautiful summer conditions in Spokane, Washington Monday. The kind you'd like to bottle up and save. After all, the transition to fall is just days away. For many, the bright sunshine made for a break from work to enjoy lunch in the park. Sunny again today, a high around 75. While many folks are enjoying a cool end to summer, it's sizzling hot in Louisiana. In Baton Rouge Monday, the high reached 94. But with humidity, it felt more like 102. Folks, get ready for another hot one today. Highs will top in the 90s again. I'm Marny Stanier, the Weather Channel.
It's 25 now past the hour. Good Tuesday morning. A look to the airports. Smooth sailing through most of the major hubs, looking good. Satellite in motion, we show you a lot of moisture working into the southwest. We still have flash flood watches in effect for the central basins of Arizona, where they picked up some very heavy rain overnight. More moisture now working into parts of Utah. The rest of the rain right down here, and rain likely later on in parts of South Texas with this wave moving onshore. You see the convection in association with that. A look to the national radar scan will show you that some of that rain does show up in Arizona. Again, they've picked up quite a bit of rain. Even in Flagstaff, reports of about 3/4 of an inch of rain as of 7 o'clock this morning. More rain right here, most of this moving to the northeast. Some strong storms in parts of Kansas. We'll take you all the way down the line and then out to Arizona. First, we'll take a look on into, well, Minneapolis, St. Paul. The rain is over for now, but it's still raining up at Rochester. Waterloo is still raining in your neck of the woods, and Peoria rain. Some heavier rain around Springfield with some embedded storms just to the north of there. Another radar picture to show you St. Louis. The rain is over for now. You had a batch of rain earlier, but that has moved off to the northeast. Rain in Columbia, and it's still raining in Vichy. More storms between Topeka and Emporia. Prescott, you had some high winds and some heavy downpours. There were reports of power outages, too, with some of the storms. You had some rain in Kingman. Now you're back to heavy rain at this time, and the rain is over out of Grand Canyon. They had a brief rain shower, but you have the chance for continued rain here. And again, those flash flood watches remain in effect for the central basins today. A look to the western satellite picture. We show you a new system trying to move onshore. That will have some luck later on. It will bring you a chance for rain. And again, the moisture feeding in here. Right now in Phoenix, it is 79, 63 Salt Lake City, a chance for rain there. Cut Bank, 38 degrees, a cool start, and 56 in Denver. 48 right now in Grand Rapids, 56 in Sioux Falls. Des Moines, you've had rain off and on throughout the morning. Right now it is 57. St. Louis with overcast conditions, also 57 degrees. All kinds of rain here, but south into Texas, and it is a decent start to the day. Not too bad in the northeast either. A nice cool start here. Feels more like fall, even though we do not officially roll into fall for several more days. 51 in Albany for current temperature, 58 in D.C. Right now in Detroit, 52, and Sault Ste. Marie, 42 degrees. You set a record in the Sault Ste. Marie area. You also set a record in Alpena at 27 this morning. 36 in Syracuse, and Rochester, 37. Another page for you out of D.C., 37 for a record low, and it was tied in Harrisburg, PA at 40. Currently in New Orleans, it is 84 degrees, 86 down around Miami way, a tropical air mass down in South Texas. Right now in Corpus Christi, it feels like 101 outside. That's the apparent temperature, with storms just to the south of there, so that easterly that wave moving onshore in Mexico. National satellite picture in Saudi Arabia, clear skies, of course, and the temperatures at 4 p.m. Mideast time, 104 Riyadh and 106 in Medina.
Forecast for the west. We'll find a front weakening as it moves toward the northwest coast. The net result, morning clouds, a little afternoon sun, and then some increasing clouds and maybe a shower or sprinkle by late in the day. Scattered thunder showers in the Four Corners area, though, could dump some locally heavier amounts of rain, maybe up to a half an inch or an inch, but in general, quarter-inch amounts should do it in the west. Your temperatures, onshore flow will keep it comfortable along the northwest coast into the 70s and 80s in California and the LA basin. Meanwhile, interior sections not all that warm today, only in the 90s. Got a southerly flow of air bringing a lot of moisture northward, and as that meets up with a cold front, we'll find a lot of wet weather, a lot of steady rain, at times heavier rain, moving toward Wisconsin as well as through Illinois and maybe to Chicago by around the afternoon hours. And the rain amounts could be locally heavy too as they continue to track on to the east. Clouds and rain will keep the temperatures down in the upper Mississippi Valley, but with the sunshine, southern plains will start to heat on up. As our rain moves toward the Great Lakes, the northeast will hang on to high pressure one more day. Should provide another gorgeous afternoon, but probably have to deal with some of this rain tomorrow. So enjoy today while it's dry and sunny. Just a few high clouds streaming in and some very nice fall-like temperatures in the 50s and 60s and even 70s down toward the mid-Atlantic coast. Nice refreshing air throughout most of the southeast, although southern Florida back on into Louisiana and Texas will still be on the humid side, and that's where we could find some scattered storms in conjunction with that frontal system. But the brunt of the heaviest rain moving up toward the mid-Mississippi Valley, but could find a local heavier downpour in southern Florida. You can see where the front is, 90s out ahead of it, cool, refreshing 70s and 80s on the north side of that frontal system. Well, there's the rain, the brunt of it in the midsection of the country, moving toward the Great Lakes by tomorrow morning. During the day tomorrow, moving into the northeast. Another shot of cool air coming down from Canada, and our front falls apart in the northwest. Stay tuned. We'll be detailing a major typhoon headed toward Japan. That's next.
I was putting in a lot of late hours at the office. The pressure was really getting to me. My doctor told me if I didn't get some exercise, I'd be a prime candidate for a heart attack.
Nordic Track.
I had a terrible time losing weight after my second baby, and dieting wasn't enough.
Nordic Track.
I really wanted to enjoy this time with my grandson, but I didn't have the energy to keep up.
Nordic Track duplicates cross-country skiing. It tones, develops, and conditions all the major muscles of your upper and lower body. Independent research shows users prefer Nordic Track more than 6 to 1 over exercise bikes and rowing machines. So it's a great way to get in shape, manage stress, and help control weight.
Nordic Track was just what I needed to work off stress.
With Nordic Track, I was able to lose weight and still eat regular meals.
Now I've got more pep.
For details on Nordic Track, call 1-800-543-8800. That's 1-800-543-8800.
Briefing is sponsored by United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies. Well, we have a major typhoon to talk about. This is Typhoon Flo. Maximum sustained winds to 145 miles per hour with gusts to 170 miles per hour. It is still moving off to the northeast at 10 miles per hour. Now, it is a major threat to the southern island of Japan, of Kyushu. Right now, at reporting stations down there, they show pressure dropping, some light rain, and some wind starting to pick up somewhat. And again, in the next 6 hours or so, there is a good possibility it will brush the southern island of Japan, and that is Kyushu. It did move through Okinawa yesterday, well, actually last night, and it had high winds to 90 miles per hour when it moved through Okinawa. They reported a lot of power outages and that kind of thing, but no injuries were reported in Okinawa with this. But of course, we're going to monitor this very closely because it is a major threat to the southernmost island of Japan. Aside from that, we have Tropical Storm Ed still moving off to the west-northwest. That is weakening, maximum winds to 60. And of course, we have Tropical Storm Marie, too, passing south of the big island of Hawaii. The biggest threat there will be some high squalls and also some squalls, rather, and some high seas. A look now to temperatures: 80 in Tokyo, 92 in Bangkok, and 74 in Beijing, 78 in Darwin. Now a few more cities.
Watch the next United Airlines Pacific briefing for weather in Hawaii, Alaska, and the U.S. West Coast.
What's your first priority? Miss Crowley.
Well, I'm assuming there's product in the pipeline, so...
Assuming, Miss Crowley. Unfortunately, assuming doesn't feed the bulldog.
The top business schools prepare you for every eventuality you will ever encounter in the business world, except one, business travel. We've got that one covered. United. Come fly the friendly skies.
How can Miss Crowley's three-person sales force stay on top of her far-flung enterprise?
United Airlines, serving over 200 cities across the U.S. and around the world. For reservations, call United or your travel agent. Come fly the friendly skies.
Well, the kids, as they're heading on out to school today, parents make sure they're prepared with the umbrella, the rain jacket. A lot of rain for the Mississippi Valley. They may have to dodge a storm or two this afternoon in South Florida and the southern plains. Even around Phoenix, up towards Salt Lake City, you may find a stray shower or thunder shower. Elsewhere, not a big problem, but some cool weather in the northeast. They'll need the jacket this morning. Cool weather in the west, too, but it'll be warm and toasty along the Gulf Coast. We'll stay tuned. We'll take a look at radars next.
If you're looking for a hotel that was made for you, welcome to Embassy Suites Hotels, where we made every room a two-room suite so you can spread out and work, or stretch out and relax. Where we made breakfast free and easy to free up your schedule. Where we made beverages on the house, so each evening you can loosen your tie and relax. Call 1-800-EMBASSY. We were made for each other.
For reservations nationwide, call 1-800-EMBASSY. We were made for each other.
Good Tuesday morning. I'm Dale Eck, Marny, Stanier. We've got a new depression in the Atlantic. John Hope will detail that in just a bit. But first, weather nationwide.
That's right, and we do have some new delays to pass along to you out of the airports. A delay this morning out of St. Louis, ranging to about an hour or so. Aside from that, smooth sailing through the major hubs in the west. Satellite into motion, we show you a big glob of clouds down just south of Texas. Some of those storms may brush the coast a little later on, that area of convection with a wave moving on shore. More rain in Arizona this morning and a lot of rain across the nation's heartland. How does it look on the national radar scan? Well, it's pretty widespread. Widespread rain from Minnesota and Wisconsin southward into parts of Arizona. We'll detail radars throughout this area, then we'll head on out to Arizona. First, we'll show you the rain in Rochester and just to the east of there. It is still raining in Dubuque, it's raining in Waterloo, and it's also raining in Peoria. This is also moving northeast at about 15 to 25 miles per hour. You've got a pocket of, well, the rain is over for right now in St. Louis, but another area of rain headed your way. It's still raining in Columbia and also in Vichy. Strong storms rumbling through here. These have been moving east all day, while the overall movement of all the rain is to the northeast. One last radar stop. We do have a flash flood watch in effect for the central basins of Arizona, where they picked up quite a bit of rain overnight. The rain is heavy right now around Kingman, Arizona. The rain just ended out of Grand Canyon. A look now to the picture. We'll show you what we have on the national scan and take you to the west. We do have a system trying to push on shore in the Pacific Northwest, and it will have some luck today, so you may get some rain. You're waking up to fog along the Pacific Northwest coast, but that will change. A chance for rain later on, so a double whammy. Rain is possible, too, in Salt Lake City. Right now it is 63, Phoenix 79 degrees. Good morning, San Diego. 68 is the current temperature. 58 in Chicago, 51 in Marquette, and 48 currently in Grand Rapids. Cleveland, 53 degrees. Again, a rainy pattern right here, especially heavy rain and some thunderstorms embedded in eastern Kansas. But clear skies in the northeast this morning and a cool start. All kinds of record low temperatures here. But the clouds are on a move, and they're moving into western portions of Ohio and parts of Kentucky this morning. 51 in Burlington, rather Albany, 52 in Boston, 58 in D.C. after a record low this morning, and 49 in Charleston. Sault Ste. Marie, 42 cool degrees. Not bad Atlanta, 64. Birmingham, 70. Sure beats what you had a couple of weeks ago, huh? 84 in Tampa, 86 in Miami. Now, it's warmer down there because they're south of a cold front and the warm, moist air, but north of it is dry and it is cooler. Look at this large cluster of storms south of Brownsville. Most of the action will move into Old Mexico, but some of it may brush the coast here. National scan, and we'll show you the picture out of Saudi Arabia. Clear skies and temperatures at 4 o'clock Mideast time. Abu Dhabi, 93. Medina, 96. Stay tuned. The forecast is next.
Send up a crow's foot. Give me an aft check.
There's a place in the friendly skies where not everyone's so friendly.
Stop. Hold it. I need 3 hours. Minimum.
Check it out. Over 9,000 mechanics of United Airlines work here.
Give me a mini grinder.
They're picky, fussy, stubborn. But if you fly, they're the best friends you'll ever have. United, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
United Airlines, serving over 200 cities across the U.S. and around the world. For reservations, call United or your travel agent. Come fly the friendly skies.
It's not an overall bad one in the western United States. We will see a front approaching the northwest coast. Morning clouds, fog, a little sun, and the clouds start coming back in, and you may find a few sprinkles by later in the day. Have an upper-level storm system, too, dumping some locally heavy rains in northern portions of Arizona. As that lifts northward, some of that scattered thunderstorm activity could be heavy in Utah and maybe Colorado and perhaps New Mexico. In general, no heavy amounts of rain, but locally could be a little bit heavier than that. Temperatures overall not all that warm with that trough in the western part of the country. Got another cold front dropping into the plains. Southerly winds ahead of it bringing plenty of moisture. The two will combine to bring a fair amount of rain from Minnesota, pushing into Wisconsin and Chicago this afternoon, and even most of Illinois, perhaps getting into Indiana and Michigan even before the afternoon is through. And some of the rain will be locally heavy too. Your temperatures, they'll stay rather cool underneath the clouds and the rain. Highs only in the 50s and 60s. Get a little sun, though. It'll get in the 80s in western portions of Kansas today. After a very cool start, this high pressure will hold on one more day in the northeast, provide a real nice, gorgeous afternoon. If you didn't take advantage of it yesterday, take advantage of it today, because tomorrow you're going to be dealing with a lot of this green stuff. It'll be headed in your direction. Before today, looks like some real great weather for the northeast part of the country. Temperatures very autumn-like. Hope you put the sweater on this morning to keep yourself warm. Highs in the 50s and 60s, some 70s after a record low in Baltimore this morning. The southeast, we find that nice refreshing air pushing into most of Dixie, but the front hanging up from South Florida back on into Texas and Louisiana, and that's where we'll find the afternoon thunderstorms. Not everyone will get them, but where they do occur, they could dump maybe a quarter to a half an inch of rain in some spots. And your temperatures refreshing in the mid-Atlantic, but warm and steamy yet south of that frontal system. Putting it all back together, the rain marches eastward toward the Great Lakes by tomorrow morning. John Hope will march in here to detail the tropics next.
Everyone has flights of fancy. I dream of a place by the sea, a beautiful room filled with dreamy food, like luscious chicken cordon bleu, zesty garden lasagna, tender stuffed breast of turkey. And I could have whichever one I want and still look great. Am I dreaming? Not with Weight Watchers 41 entrees. This isn't dreaming. This is living.
Safe, sensible weight control for over 25 years.
Hi, Bob Vila for Sears, the home improvement professionals. Maybe you've been dreaming about a beautiful new kitchen or updating your bath. Well, if it's too big a job to do yourself, trust the job to Sears. They've been in business for over 100 years. Sears home improvement professionals will design a whole new kitchen or bath and prepare an estimate, all at no cost to you. The design will make the most efficient use of your space, and the cabinetry is beautiful with the latest features like this space-saving pantry unit. Would you like to have one of these? Or this appliance garage, and this corner Lazy Susan. All Sears remodeling work is done by authorized contractors who comply with local building codes. Sears guarantees all work and products to your complete satisfaction. For kitchens and a whole lot more, count on the home improvement professionals at Sears, the most trusted name around the house.
Call 1-800-228-1600 to arrange a free in-home Sears kitchen remodeling estimate. 1-800-228-1600.
Okay, here's the way it is. If we're going to make our numbers this year, we've got to do two things. Generate more volume and get a handle on our expenses. I want you to go through this place department by department. Take a look at everything we're doing and figure out how we can do it better. While you're at it, take a look at this. Saw this on the plane. It sounds like it can help us control our travel expenses. Maybe it can, maybe it can't. Let's find out.
The En route card, single-minded, business-focused.
Use the En route card for all your travel needs at your local USTS affiliate.
In the French Alps, there's a source of clean water that's as refreshing as any on Earth. It doesn't flow from some remote mountain peak. It flows from an ordinary faucet that's connected to an Instapure water filter.
We have a new tropical depression out in the Atlantic. It's a good ways out there. It's about 1,000 miles east of the Leeward and the Windward Islands, but we think this could be a tropical storm very soon as it moves on toward the west. Not quite so concerned about what we have in the Gulf now, although some heavy rain may spread into South Texas. And even Marie, I think, is less of a worry than it has been. Here it is right now, a very ill-defined center. There is a reconnaissance aircraft in the area, and it is indicating that this is really moving more toward the southwest. It's not really getting much of any closer to Hilo. Here it is in motion, and we don't really have any kind of an organized system. There's a big island, and even though they've had a couple inches of rain in the last 24 hours, it is not raining there very much right now. In fact, the wind is only about 5 or 6 miles an hour. Let me show you the latest particulars. This is on the advisory oil issued at 5 o'clock this morning, our time, Eastern time, and at that time the winds were 70 miles an hour. It was moving toward the west-southwest at 9, and it was still 210 miles from Hilo. As I indicated, though, looking at the reconnaissance reports, we think that it is growing even more southwest than that, so that lessens the threat certainly for Hawaii. Do have tropical storm warnings out around the Big Island and a watch around Maui, but it seems less and less likely to us that that's going to actually come to pass, so we'll see what happens on that. There's a depression that's 1,000 miles east of the islands, and again, we're looking at this flare up in the Gulf of Mexico. The particulars on the tropical depression, just designated so this morning, centered at 15.7 and 47.2. That's 1,000 miles from the windwards, and the top winds are 35 miles an hour, moving toward the west at 14. Again, we think this is going to be a storm quite soon. Farther out in the Atlantic, you can't see the depression on this one. We have another very strong system off the coast of Africa. We'll have to watch that as well. Nothing in the Caribbean, though, to worry about. Now, in the Gulf, we have some very heavy rain headed up towards South Texas and northeastern New Mexico. No kind of circulation there, and it seems less likely now that we're going to have one. And typhoon flow down a little bit now. The top winds are 125 miles an hour. It looks as if it's just going to skirt the southern island of Kyushu and may come ashore in Honshu, though, with the top winds about 90 or 100 miles an hour sometime about 24 hours down the road. Stay tuned now for your weather highlights.
Forest fires continue to burn in the Okefenokee Swamp in South Georgia. Aerial pictures show very little is left in some parts of the swamp. Charred trees stand out across the blackened remains. Little chance for rain relief today for the smoldering fires. Conditions will stay dry for the next couple of days. Also in weather news, beautiful summer conditions in Spokane, Washington Monday. The kind you'd like to bottle up and save. After all, the transition to fall is just days away. For many, the bright sunshine made for a break from work to enjoy lunch in the park. Sunny again today, a high around 75. While many folks are enjoying a cool end to summer, it's sizzling hot in Louisiana. In Baton Rouge Monday, the high reached 94. But with humidity, it felt more like 102. Folks, get ready for another hot one today. Highs will top in the 90s again. I'm Marny Stanier, the Weather Channel.
And now a look ahead, starting off with the jet stream. You'll see some changes in the west, a trough developing Wednesday, but the ridge builds back again by the weekend, and temperatures will begin to moderate somewhat. Highs for Wednesday, well, you're looking at 50s and 60s across the northeast. 80s will build into around St. Louis and Kansas City. Still quite warm from Texas over to South Georgia, and warming up by the weekend, it looks like, especially by Saturday in the west. You'll really notice some changes. Nice and mild with those 80s streaming into parts of Washington and Oregon. Coolest weather right here, 50s, and in a pocket across parts of eastern New York State. Rain showers and scattered storms in this area on Wednesday. Dry Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Fargo. Looks like some rain in South Texas through Thursday. Mainly the isolated storms in the afternoon hours. Still dry in this pocket, so not too bad, and dry in the northeast on Friday. We bring you another chance for rain, though, in Chicago and St. Louis Friday, and that whole area speeds east on Saturday, so kind of a messy one this weekend along the northeastern corridor.
Daihatsu owners talk about Daihatsu from Japan.
When you can recommend a car to your best friend, you are driving the right car.
We're talking about style
and performance.
Japanese quality I can afford.
You get the same quality in Rocky, the wide-track 4x4 by Daihatsu.
That zippy four-cylinder fuel-injected engine really gets it around.
And Rocky has the widest wheel track in its class. Today, there's a Daihatsu that's just right for you. Daihatsu, one of the most respected names in Japan for over 80 years.
See your nearby Daihatsu dealer today for a test drive.
And now it's time for the Michelin Drivers Report, brought to you by Michelin and your participating Michelin dealer.
Fog we had in the eastern part of the country breaking up, but still rather foggy. Western Washington into the northwest coast of Oregon. So give yourself a little extra driving time there this morning. Storms will fire up South Florida, the southern plains, and they're already firing in the southwest. Reports of some locally heavy rain in north central Arizona and even some flash flooding there. Meanwhile, the bulk of the wet weather will move its way through the upper Mississippi Valley. So any of these interstates, even into Chicago by this afternoon, you can expect some wet roadways, 94, 90, 35. Now moving on through the hardest of the rain, moving through central Illinois and heading eastbound. Stay tuned. We'll highlight where that active weather is, where the heaviest rain is on radar. That's coming up next on the Weather Channel.
Michelin high-performance radios. Everything you'd expect from a Michelin, only faster. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
Find Michelin tires at this dealer near you, because so much is riding on your tires.
There's only one channel that shows you the weather situation in Europe, the Weather Channel. Our international weather gives you the full story on weather conditions in Rome, London, Paris, Athens, and the other great cities of Europe. So whether you're a business traveler, vacationer, or just curious, find out about Europe's weather. Tune in 41 minutes past the hour between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern, and you'll see international weather only on the Weather Channel.